Hey everybody, I hope you guys are all healthy and safe. So I'm pretty excited today because I have here on me the Meizu 17 Pro. So this is the newest flagship from Meizu. And some of you guys may not have heard of Meizu before. They are a smaller Chinese brand that in recent years have kind of fallen behind the Xiaomi's and Oppos and Vivos in terms of brand name recognition. But Meizu is actually one of the earliest Chinese brands. It's been around before, before OnePlus, Vivo, Oppo were ever a thing. And to be honest, I've always been a fan of Meizu phones because they have really good, clean hardware and software. And on top of that, their packaging is a little bit different from everyone else. Hold on, let me figure out how to open this damn box. Their packaging differs a little bit from all the other packaging out there, which is refreshing, because I unbox so many phones and they're just kind of, the experience is getting more and more similar. So I've been covering Meizu for a few years now, going back all the way to like 2016. But last year, it didn't release a flagship phone for some reason. A lot of us thought Meizu might have been in trouble, like the brand was going to go out of business or something. But the company's back with a new flagship, the 17 Pro. So you see it runs on Snapdragon 865 and it has a 64 megapixel main camera. Oh, this is a really nice unboxing experience. This is particularly nice considering this phone sells for around 600 something US dollars. Usually, you only get a fancy unboxing experience now when you buy a $2,000 phone like a Galaxy Fold. If you buy even a Samsung Galaxy S20, you're getting a pretty generic unboxing experience. But this is quite nice. So this is obviously the China edition. There will probably be a global version later on, but Meizu has not announced details of that yet. So let's put the phone to the side first. Here's a US-China charging brick. They use the same plug. There's a SIM ejector tool. USB-C cable and a hard clear case. It's a shell more than just a traditional rubber case. Anyway, let's get to the phone. So Meizu is one of the few brands that have refused to go with the notch. So even back when it was pumping out phones in 2018, it just refused to use a notch when everyone else was using it. Instead, it went with a symmetrical bezel at the top and bottom, which I quite like. Let's see. This is a very reflective glass finish, or is this ceramic? It feels very premium. Let's get to the front. So there is no screen protector already applied. So this is still a flat panel, which is increasingly rare in 2020. Although the edges are still pretty smooth, it's not like hard corners right here. I'm liking this camera array. It just looks different from everything else out there. I mean, 2020 is a year where a lot of phones are starting to look the same from the back. So I appreciate that Meizu is doing something a little bit different. Okay, so this is all in Chinese, and I'm gonna have to install Google separately because this is a Chinese model. So after I set everything up, I'll be back. Hey guys, I'm back. So I took the Meizu 17 Pro outside for about an hour. Now, I'm very busy today with a lot of deadlines, so I was not able to test this phone as thoroughly as I would like. So this is not a review by any means. It's just a first look at a device that isn't getting a lot of international coverage outside China. So as you can see from the hardware, there are bezels around the screen that are noticeably thicker than the bezels that you might be used to now on a 2020 flagship, like on a S20 Ultra or OnePlus 8 Pro. I think some people might like this because this is a flat panel And the bezels being just, just a sliver, a little bit thicker than usual, means that you're probably not going to get any accidental palm touches on this phone like you would get on S20 Ultra or Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro or Oppo Find X, any of those phones. One cool thing I do want to mention is the hole punch cutout on the Meizu 17 Pro is really, really small. I mean, look at how tiny this hole punch is. And it's not like this is a really weak selfie camera. It's a 20 megapixel selfie camera that, although I'm not much of a selfie person, it does look pretty good. It's all automatically tracking my face right now. Lighting looks pretty good. I'm really impressed with what Meizu has done, especially compare the hole punch of the Meizu 17 Pro to the Huawei P40 Pro. I mean, I know a lot of you guys have been leaving comments complaining about the hole punch cutout of the P40 Pro. Well, for those of you guys, you'll probably be happy with this hole punch cutout. And it's not just Huawei, even the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro and the OnePlus 8 Pro, they have similar size hole punch cutouts. And look at how much smaller the Meizu cutout is compared to the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. So that's very impressive hardware craftsmanship here from Meizu. So this is a 6.6-inch display with a resolution of 1080 by 2340. So it's a Samsung AMOLED panel, Super AMOLED. So colors are very vibrant and viewing angles are pretty good. And you see the hole punch, it's really small, so it doesn't really get into the way. And yes, this phone has stereo speakers too. And it gets pretty loud. Speaker grill down here and speaker grill up here. As I already mentioned during the unboxing, I quite like this design, especially the back. The glass actually does not attract fingerprints that badly, and I really like the camera module layout. It looks different from everything else on the market right now because everyone else has that giant rectangle layout on the corner. So the quad camera system is headlined by a 64 megapixel f1.8 sensor. This is sourced from Samsung. And you have an 8 megapixel telephoto zoom lens here that can achieve up to 3 times lossless zoom. Right here it's a 3D depth sensing camera, so it's a TOF sensor. And here's a 32 megapixel wide angle camera or ultra wide camera, whatever you want to call it. And then in the center right here, it's a flash. Now, although the camera hardware is pretty solid, from my brief testing so far, I wasn't that impressed. Don't get me wrong, the photos are not bad, they're pretty solid, but I don't think they're gonna blow anyone's minds away. And to be honest, I don't think my opinion of this will change even if I test it thoroughly over the next few days, because smartphone photography now, it's more and more about software more than hardware. It's no longer about, oh, I'm just gonna get the newest Sony IMX sensor or get the 108 megapixel sensor and I'm gonna have the best camera because the hardware is so good. It's about software processing now. That's why the Google Pixel still has, in my opinion, the best still camera. Too bad everything else about that phone sucks. And the iPhone 11 Pro's camera is still one of the top 3 or 4, even though if you go by hardware, the iPhone's hardware sucks compared to all the Android offerings. So software processing matters a lot. So far from what I've seen, photos are solid. Colors are a little bit on the dull side, but at least they're not overly punchy, overly exaggerated like on some older Samsung phones. I do see some major discrepancies in photo quality between the main camera, which is right here, 64 megapixel, and the wide angle camera, which even though it's 32 megapixel, you see dynamic range is suffering a little bit right here. It's kind of a little bit dim, but I'll do more testing later on. This is just a very early impressions. Now looking at Meizu's software, so yeah, this phone does not have Google out of the box because it's the China version, but installing Google is very easy because Meizu has its own app store, and inside the app store, it's a Google installer. It's called the GMS installer, and all you have to do is tap into it, 2 taps, and it'll install Google Play services and the Google Play Store. And then from there, you then have to manually add YouTube, Google Drive, Google Docs, all that. So Meizu's software, it's called Flyme. It's I like it, I don't love it. So there is no app tray, first of all. Everything sits on the home screen. You see app icons are a little bit cartoonish and bright, kind of like Xiaomi's Mi UI look. I like it, but not everyone loves it. One of the standout features is there's a lot of shortcut gestures, just like a OnePlus phone. You can double tap to turn on the screen. You can draw alphabets on the screen to launch apps directly, and these are all customizable. So you can set it so draw a circle to launch the camera, or draw a circle to launch Instagram. And one other thing I like is you can scroll on the side of the menu to immediately get to the app that you need by alphabetical order. So if you know that you want to open YouTube, you can just drag your finger all the way down to Y, and then YouTube will be right there. And you just have to pull out, and then YouTube will launch right away. So the processor in here is a Snapdragon 865, as I mentioned. So this phone supports 5G with 8 gigs of RAM. Here's a Geekbench score if you care about any of that. And there's a 4,500 mAh battery, which given this screen is only a 1080p panel and 90 Hz refresh rate, the battery life should last all day easily, 45 mAh. Yeah, the refresh rate is 90 Hz and it's pretty smooth. This is not as well optimized as the 120 Hz panel on a OnePlus 8 Pro or even a 90 Hz panel on a Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro, like those phones. You can tell the company has added extra frames of animation so that when you open certain apps and do certain things, you see a little bit more fluid motion. That's not so much the case here. I mean, it's a little bit smoother, but I wouldn't say it's like mind-blowingly smooth like on the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro or last year's OnePlus 7 Pro, and those are both 90 Hz panel. But still, 90 Hz panel is still going to be better than a 60 Hz panel, so I'm still liking the screen a lot. And who knows, maybe Meizu will pump out a software update later that will make the animation look a little bit more zippier. I mean, keep in mind, I'm just completely nitpicking here, comparing this panel to the OnePlus 8 Pro and the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. Oh yeah, also this phone supports wireless charging, which is a first for a Meizu device. There's an in-display fingerprint sensor sourced from Goodegg, so you know it's already fast and really accurate. And let's check out this included case. I like it, I'm a fan of it. It snaps onto it. It adds a little bit of protection in the corners because it protects the corners from drops. But then other than that, it's very minimal. It keeps the back design clean. Like, in fact, from far away, you might not be able to tell I have the case on. And it leaves the sides open, so when I'm holding the phone, I'm still feeling glass. Anyway, so that about wraps it up for this very early first look at the Meizu 17 Pro. Like I said, this is not a review. I'm gonna dig deeper into testing this phone over the next few days. I just need to do a lot of errands and have a lot of deadlines today in terms of stories that I need to write. So apologies if this video isn't as in-depth as usual, but if you're interested in learning more about this phone or just keep up to date with all the latest Chinese releases, please subscribe to my channel. My subscriber count has really slowed down recently. I don't know why. I don't know, maybe YouTube algorithm. So please, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe and maybe click on that bell notification too. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.